Hello and welcome to the next video of my Worlds 2022 preview series. We're going to cover patch 12.18, the Worlds patch, real fast. Obviously, there's not a lot written on the board, and you're going to be like, well, I have a lot of new people to the channel, so you're going to be like, well, what is this about? There's a lot of the same things written on here over and over again. It's because the patch is not all that impressive. Now, we think about, by the way, I don't edit my videos, so down in the description, Twitter, Discord, YouTube memberships. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. There's like 300 of us, roughly. Just a little under that if you'd like to join. Protex did say they would try and do watch parties, so if you would like to join the watch party, you may. Obviously they're doing us a real big favor, going outside of their time zone, watching and willing to put those on when they can, so I really appreciate that. Now, YouTube memberships, $3, supports us, keeps the channel alive, supports us, but supports me, I guess. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It keeps me afloat. And also, YouTube memberships get extra content, including my predictions for who's going to win. So tomorrow, you're going to get a video, if you're a member, at the $10 tier, where I am going to give you who I think is going to win Thursday's games in at Worlds play-ins, right? A little extra content compared to what you're going to get in the roundup, where I just go over the games, briefly. And then you also get fantasy football content, so that's American football stuff, a couple videos a week, usually. So if that stuff interests you, $10 tier. I'm at 500 now, pretty much, on my bets, which is good, or my predictions for the NFL. Now, back to this. This is why you're here. So we have 12-18. Last time we saw Pro Play was on 12.15, the LCK 12.14, so there's a lot of things going on here, and I have videos up about 12.15, 16, and 17. At the end of the video, you're going to see me put 12.17 in the end screen, if you'd like to click that and see how I felt about 12.17 as it related to Worlds teams. So, this is very, very, very basic black and white. People are going to say, actually X champion, a player's better on it than this or that. And it's like, yes, that's true, 100% true. Not all nerfs and buffs are created equally. Technically, not all buffs and nerfs are for pro play. We know that. But it's fun to just look at it and consider what teams have players that have played these champions in the past that, who knows, maybe they pull them out because they're buffed. Or, oh, these teams played this champion a lot in summer and it's been nerfed. Maybe it's out of their, wheelhouse now. Maybe they don't pick it as much. How much does it affect them, right? So we have several teams on here. The good, which means that they are very happy about this. They are a net positive on this patch. The ugly, sorry. We have a couple teams on the ugly that come out negatively net-wise when we look at the champions affected on this patch. And then meh. In the middle, zero. Neither. Now, the teams that aren't listed on here are actually in between here, the good and the meh. So if you're not listed on here, you're relatively okay with the patch. You come out with a net positive. So Gen G, very happy. Ashe, Lee Sin, Thresh. Ruler has been around a long time. He's played Ashe. Peanut, Lee Sin, makes sense. And then Lehen's Thresh is a pick he's done in the past, right? So I looked at the last couple of years, and if they had picked it at least a handful of times or more in a given split, I included it on here. If you are in a region with best of threes, if it was best of ones, it was, I think, 3 or 4 picks in a given split. It ended up on here. Dom1 Kia, the same thing. Duck Dom has played Ashe in the past. We have Kellen, who's played Thresh, and Canyon's played Lee Sin. Will the Ashe buffs affect things? It's possible. We're seeing it in Champions Queue. I'm listening to what these players are having to say about it. I watch, I'm not going to lie, I watch Double Lift's Champions Queue stream because he's willing to talk to these players and ask them, hey, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? How are scrims going? What is the meta in scrims, at least for bot lane? And from what I'm understanding, Ashe is a pick that's like on that second tier. He's been picking Jhin, and some people are thinking it's kind of sus, but at the same time, they think it's similar to Ashe. Caitlyn MF is clearly the top picks right now. So that's kind of how it's forming. So does Ashe become meta? It's possible. And most of these teams are going to be happy about it. There are some teams that's AD Carry really didn't pick a lot of Ashe in the last few years, though. So they might not be all that comfortable with the champion. Now you got Lee Sin and Thresh. If Canyon can get on Lee Sin, all of a sudden Damwon has a buff for sure. 100 Thieves, this was a little troll, I'm not going to lie. But I have Lee Sin, Ashe, Thresh, and yes, Nasus. Why do I have Nasus on there? Well, it's kind of just, like I said, a troll little joke. Nasus is buffed, right? The chances of seeing Nasus are slim to none. But the only player at this tournament, at least when I looked, I might have missed something, to have played Nasus in a pro game is Someday. A long, long time ago. So, for that and that alone, Nasus is up there for 100 Thieves because Someday's picked it in the past. That's at this event. We know other people have picked it. Cube, I think, picked it, right? Shanji or Cube? Maybe both of them picked it this past split in the LPL. Lulu, however, we see our first negative champion on the happy list, right? Kellen really didn't pick a lot of Lulu, neither did the Hens, compared to other champions they have in their pool, where Huhi picked quite a bit of Lulu. So, that's on there. Beyond Gaming, our first minor region team, Ashe, Lee Sin, Thresh. Husha plays Lee Sin. We have Kino's played Thresh, and Wako has played Ashe, so they're happy about it. Now, in the meh category, we have Mad Lions. Mad Lions, Elyoya Lee Sin, Kaiser Thresh. Unforgiven's played Callista this past, Callista quite a bit. Now, this doesn't include teams that might have had a banned against them. We look at Holy Phoenix, for example, or Ruler. But if they picked it, and that's part of why they are where they are right now with wins and losses and things like that, it's going to be on here. So Callista is out for Unforgiven, or at least been nerfed. Does that mean it's out of the meta? No, but it's been nerfed. Lulu, nerfed for Kaiser. EG, Lee Sin and Thresh. So Inspired Lee Sin, Vulcan Thresh, both buffed. However, Kaori's Callista. Kaori picked Callista in Academy. Normally I don't go into Academy, but this is a special circumstance. So, Callista for Kaori. And actually, Danny was nerfed too because MF was nerfed on this patch. And he was the only player that actually picked enough MF to end up on this list if he was eligible. And also, another interesting tidbit was because of the Nocturne nerf, Levi was negatively affected for Gam Esports. I mean, it's a minor thing, but it's something to note. And then Lulu for Vulcan. Detonation Focus Me, the other minor region team on the list. Lee Sin and Thresh. So Lee Sin for Steel, Thresh for Harp. And then we have Udapon's Callista and Harp's Lulu on the nerf list. Now, the two teams that are not happy about this, they are sad. Cloud9 are sad. Lee Sin is buffed for Blabber, but Callista is nerfed for Berserker, and Lulu is nerfed for Sven. Now, what you're going to notice something here. We had a lot of Ashe over here. All of a sudden, where is the Ashe? Unforgiven, Kaori, Udapon, Berserker, and Comp. 5 players that did not have a lot of Ashe in their last couple years. Not a lot of Ashe. Does Ashe enter their champion pool? Certainly can. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying that historically, it hasn't really been there. The presence isn't really there all that much. So, that's why they're not on the happy list. Rogue, Thresh. So, Malrung, not a big Lee Sin player. So, Lee Sin's not on there. But, Trimby's played Thresh. Trimby loses the Lulu. And Comp loses the Callista. So, some interesting things to look at about this patch. Obviously, this patch, not all that impactful. 12-17 was bigger. That's why the 12-17 video is going to be up here. Keep in mind, there are champions that were washed out. Nocturne and MF, I think, are the two that definitely were washed out. So, you have to keep that in mind. Like, I'm going to talk about MF and Nocturne on 12-17, I believe. And, I mean, in the end, it was removed, right? So, ignore that bit. But 12-17's up, 12-16's up. If you're an LCK fan, 12-15's up. The next couple days, we're going to have a couple videos each day. And then starting Thursday, Roundup is going to be out later at night. I'm thinking like midnight my time, which is going to be very late for a lot of people. But that's when the games end. And that's when the Roundup goes out. So the channel is going to go through some changes here for Worlds. But this video now, later on today, I have a video that I'm going to put out. And then tomorrow, I'm going to have my predictions, pick'ems, crystal ball, all that jazz that people want to see, I guess. And then a video about players of interest that I'm interested in going into this event. So thank you for watching. Become a member on the channel. Join the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel if you don't want to become a member. Just subscribe, like the video, share it if you want. Comment down below what champions you think that were buffed are going to end up in the meta. What would be fun to see in the meta. And what champions nerfed do you think all of a sudden might lose relevance. So thank you for watching, and hope you come back for more content.